joined now by Senator Tim Scott. He's got a new book, One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. And, Senator, I appreciate you coming on with me.
Absolutely.
I believe that part of the motivation for this book, according to my team, was you seeing Harrison Butker, who is a field goal kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, speaking out about faith and his family relationships. Why did that strike you to such a degree, and then did that help to motivate you to write this book?
Certainly I see the attack on Christianity in our country all over the place, and certainly his story got so much press. I just kept thinking to myself, why is it okay to attack the very foundation of the greatest nation on earth and what we were founded upon? And I find it to be utterly ridiculous, Clay, on the attacks that Christianity has to endure. And I wanted to do something that highlighted and celebrated strong profiles in Christian courage. Why our country is the greatest country on the planet is because of men and women who responded to a call in their heart to make something and someone better outside of themselves. And I am so thankful that we have professional athletes, rare these days, who take a strong stand for faith, not just at the microphone after a game, but literally giving a speech that they wanted to literally take tiny pieces out of that speech and find a way to make fun of him and condemn his faith. Utterly ridiculous to me.
I don't know if you've heard any of the program. Probably not. You're kind of a busy guy. But we've ended up talking quite a lot today about the decline of fathers, and I think it in the family household, and I think it ties in with the book that you are writing, because one reason that might be happening is an absence of religion, and a lot of young men are honestly going back to church now. I don't think you're a dad yet, but I've got 3 boys. I think all the time about how to raise them to be strong, good parents. Why do you think we're struggling to such an extent with young men, and how do we get black, white, Asian, Hispanic dads back in the family raising strong young men?
Well, Clay, I think one of the reasons why President Trump has endorsed the book, One Nation Always Under God, is because I focused really on that subject matter by telling my own story of growing up in a single-parent household. And what you just said, Clay, is so important. It was so casual when you said it, but it was powerful in my ears. One of the scriptures I'm really excited about is Proverbs 27:17, that says, iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens the other. The best way to do that, Clay, is to have a father in the household. You just said very casually that you are there for your 3 sons. 72 to 74%, the numbers escape me, of African-American boys do not have their father in the household. 40% of white working-class families don't have a father in the household. That does not tell about the future we want in this nation. And so you covering fatherhood and the importance of a male role model in the house is undeniably the most important thing we can do to get this nation back on track, except for faith. Faith is the foundation. Family is the most powerful single unit in the nation. Upon those two, you build an objective standard, you apply it fairly to everyone, you get a flourishing country called America. Without that very important building block called the family, we as a nation, we don't work, and we don't work without a faith-filled foundation upon which all things stand. So I can spend as much time as you want to on the importance that a father plays in the household. I just became a bonus dad, Clay, just a year ago. I have 3 kids that I've inherited by getting married, and I got to tell you, it changes your focus to the future. It reminds you of the importance of a value system, and it underscores why one nation always under God and these profiles in Christian courage is something that has as much to do about the future as it illuminates the past.
One of the things that we talked about is you think about things only getting better in the country, right? That's the goal. We want everybody's generation to be better than it was before. But you and I, if we went back to 1950, you just ran through some of those statistics. White, black, Asian, Hispanic. I know there would have been fewer Asian and Hispanic households, but certainly a lot of white and black households. Dad would have been home, right? 1950s America. Dad was home raising his kids in general. Now, I know there were exceptions. There's people out there listening. You yourself just said you didn't have a father in the household. This has been an issue that's gone on for a long time. How do you think we change it, right? It's one thing if we were getting a little bit better every year, but this is those things where you look back and you say, boy, you know what? 70 years ago, kids growing up in America were more likely to have a dad in the household. What could we do? What should we do? I don't even see this as remotely political because I think every kid is way better off with a dad in the household. What should we be doing to encourage that?
Well, number one, we need to remind men of their responsibility, and not in fathering a child, but by raising that child. It's such an important part of it. You know, if you think about what a father provides, for me, the lack of a father made me very disillusioned about who I would be growing up, what I could become. Someone to teach me how to drive, how to shave. That person was absent. And it makes everything more difficult. I'm thankful that I became a Christian at a very young age, and I found the father figure needed in understanding my heavenly Father. And as a result, I could go to Ephesians 2 and read about certain attributes or characteristics I would have. I could go to Galatians 3:28 and see that I was adopted into this whole family called the Lord's family. But to make it practical in everyday American households, number one, the man needs to understand his responsibility. Number two, he needs to be present. The way that we encourage both, I think, is by reminding men of that importance. I spoke at a men's group about 2 Saturdays ago with a couple hundred men in the room, and I talked about you can be a male without being a man. A male just tells you you know who you are from a DNA perspective. Being a man, there are attributes and characteristics that come with being a man: being responsible, being accountable, being self-sacrificing, serving, not just leading. These are characteristics of being a man. Being a male may be reproductive. It may be having a good time on Saturday nights but not showing up on Sunday mornings. Being a man says you show up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. That's how a man becomes a father. A male does not necessarily do so.
The book is One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. We're talking to Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina. All right, these are big issues. These are important issues. But I'm about to put you on the real hot seat. Who's going to be better this year, South Carolina or Clemson?
Listen, I know that the polls have suggested.
I can already tell that's a good politician answer to start with. Listen,
No.
For those of you who don't know, both. Let me tell people: South Carolina Gamecocks expect to be very good. Clemson Tigers also expect to be very good. The biggest rivalry in the state of South Carolina.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
That's the backlog. Now you can dive in.
Thank you, brother. The funny part, Clay, I know the polls suggest that Clemson's going to be better. One poll has them at number 6. They have South Carolina at 19. As a lifelong Gamecock fan, yes, I'm a crazy politician. I'm just going to tell you the truth and where I stand. The Gamecocks are going to have a better season. I know it because Shane Beamer, he's the man, the myth, and he will be the legend. And as a result of that, he will coach his team to a 9-3 record. And the Clemson Tigers, they're going to stumble a couple times, and they're going to end up around 8-4, 8-3. The difference, of course, is we play in the SEC, they play in the ACC. We're not talking basketball; we're talking football.
That's actually, I thought you would dodge it. I didn't think you would pick a side, so I'm impressed. But I love Shane Beamer, really good dude, the head coach at South Carolina. I also like Dabo, but I know Shane
Dabo.
Beamer. Lenore Sellers, for those of you out there who do not know, fabulous quarterback for South Carolina. What should people know about him getting ready for about 3 weeks from now when toe meets leather?
You know, interesting enough, he turned down more NIL money to stay at Carolina than he could have gotten, like $3 to $4 million more someplace else. That tells me, number one, he's a South Carolina boy, born and bred. Number two, he's committed, which is an unusual characteristic we'd like to see in fathers as well, by the way. And number three, he has a strong run game, but he's been improving his pass game. And that, to me, is a quintessential quarterback, can scramble, but thread the needle. I don't want him to run too much because that's how you get injured. I want him to stay in the pocket, scramble a little bit, and hit the receiver who's running a 10 and out or a goalpost. And when that happens, I think we'll have a good season. Now, I know I was critical of my Clemson Tigers, and I'm going to have some emails coming in about that. But I got to just tell you, I love Dabo, and Jim Clemens is the best president and university president in all of America. Clemson's president. But at the end of the day, a man's got to be where a man has been his whole life, and that's the Carolina Gamecocks.
I actually think, and I know there's a lot of politicians, and I'm sure you've seen it in your career for sure, who try to thread the needle and avoid picking a side. I actually think sports fans appreciate someone who picks a side more because the traditional politician tries to avoid it. Hey, I hope the book does really well. I appreciate you coming on with us. You got an open invite anytime you want to come on and keep up the fighting.
Thank you, Clay. One Nation Always Under God, available right now at Amazon.
Amen. Go check it out. That is Senator Tim Scott. I'll take some of your calls. We'll react. Really good feedback so far during the course of the program. And I want to tell you, I mentioned it, dog days of summer are here. Do you want to have Joe Biden energy? That means, they never let Biden walk on the roof of the White House. Do you know why? Because they were afraid that he might just tumble off. The Secret Service wouldn't have let him walk on the roof of the White House like Trump was. You guys know at any moment he could have tripped all over himself. Next thing you know, he's dead, all falling off the roof of the White House. Guy can't even walk. Do you want Biden energy? Do you want people watching you thinking, oh my goodness, is this guy going to make it from one side of the room to another? Or do you want Trump energy? Get hooked up right now with Chalk. You can have great energy, all natural. Testosterone is the engine that fuels the natural stack. You're going to love it. They also have a female vitality stack. Again, all this is natural. What's the cost to you? You might as well try it as you move into the summer, new school year starting. You're chasing the kids or the grandkids around. You need a lot of energy. Get hooked up right now with Chalk. CHOQ.com is that website. Use my name Clay, lifetime subscription discount. That is my name Clay, Chalk.com. Get hooked up today. Chalk.com. Name Clay. Go sign up right now.